I'm ready to broadcast. I think I might cut it out earlier. I know it's been 7 minutes or almost 10 minutes, but you know, sometimes it's a process. Appreciate you guys working through me, to me. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to Reaction Sports. It's your big homie, Mr. Opinion, and we're ready to let's get into it. Now, Coach Norvell of Florida State has finally beaten Coach to a top recruit, a five-star recruit out of the state of Florida who plays the cornerback position. Can you believe it? Yes, we can. I mean, come on now. The story, like I said earlier, that I wanted to see was Coach Prime getting the player, not for the sake of Florida State or, you know, anti-Florida State bias, but just because it would have been scenes. And the meltdown that would have happened with the Florida State fan base was epic. And I must say, I would love to see Florida State people. I would have loved to see them meltdown. So my big question or topic, you know, we see the videos from his recruiting. It has some music playing, so that's why I'm not showing it. But you can see him with this Charles Lester III with the spear and the process. But this was the really interesting part, is that he had committed last week unofficially to Florida State, and they have scenes of him officially committing in a whole ceremony with Coach Norvell, with the Florida State people, but it was all hush. It was that Charles Lester III committed this recruiting trip to Colorado to have that experience. So, and then we have images from that standpoint. Here's Charles Lester III, Colorado, hanging out with the Colorado gear on. But from his perspective and what we already knew, he had no intentions. He had no intentions of actually going to play for Colorado at that time, right? That's what that's what he said. That's what he said. So, because he had no intentions of actually going to play for Colorado, guess what happened? That brings me to the point, or ask the question, should players go out on recruiting visits after they've already decided that they were not going to go play for that team, right? That's a lot of money invested. Or is it a case of, hey, go out there and see? I guess my question is, he's already been out there before, right? He's already been out there before. He already made a commitment behind the scene. That's pretty much interesting to me. But let's go into the story of the process. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Please comment what be allowed after they committed, or not be allowed to, but is it fair? Is it fair to the program? Is it wasting money? Like where do you stand? Is it, like, I wouldn't say wasting money, but is it immoral, right? Is it the moral thing to do to go spend time with coaches, be schmoozed, be wined, be dined, when you know you have no intentions of actually playing or even going to school, right? Or is it a case of, hey, go out there and it's your job to win me over? It's not my job, right? You know, who doesn't want a free flight out to Colorado? Who doesn't want that, right? For me and my family, is that part of the experience? But is it a true part of the experience when you've actually already physically committed? Shout out to the podcast, No Slaw, No Fries. It's a big Florida State site. They, or YouTube, already mentioned that before, that, you know, were pretty positive that he's already committed, and they had inside information on that. So I heard them, you know, hint at that, but, you know, but the idea of the excitement really did, because you never know what could happen, but they were pretty firm on that. So let's get into the story. This state, and this is what kind of, all right, Coach Norvell from Leicester. Coach Norvell, I have the best relationship with Coach Norvell. Of anyone else here, so that explains it all. To have that type of relationship with the head man, his character and the way he loves not only shows, but he makes me feel like I'm a high priority. It makes me feel like he's going to give me whatever it takes to get me to the next level I want to go to. Out of all the head coaches I've been to, that guy makes me feel like the highest priority in the world. Now, that is what struck to me most. And we'll get to the other thing in a second. That Coach Prime's biggest, I wouldn't say shtick, but one of Coach Prime's biggest selling point is that he players feel like, you know, he was their number one priority. And through that process, you know, he was able to get a lot of people in, get a lot of people going, get a lot of people out into the program. So I guess that's what I want to put out to you all. That's Coach Norvell, because without a doubt is on a big time recruiting spree where they're getting a lot of players into the program, into the kind of really getting things going. So I guess that's the question that I have to you all. Has Florida State turned the corner? Norvell able to connect with the players in the way that Coach Prime was doing before, right? And this is the other side that stood out to me, and that is the defensive backs coach, Patrick Surtain Sr. You know, he's a Hall of Fame. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer yet, but he was an amazing player for the Miami Dolphins, all pro, all everything, and he's the defensive back coach. So is this the answer to that? You know, yes, I could be coached by Coach Prime, who's one of the best, but also Patrick Surtain, one of the best to ever do it. And we see what kind of ways his son is doing for him to get out into the coaching game. Is this Florida State answer to Coach Prime? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. This has been a big deal. It has been getting a lot of recruits in. So from my standpoint, I would definitely say this has made a big difference in the process in where Florida State is and is going. And last but not least, I definitely wanted to touch base on this. Florida State, with the signing of Charles Lester, has jumped up. This is just on 3, but in other publications, they have jumped up into the top 3. You know, they've getting Landon Thomas, the quarterback, Luke Kermoy, Luke A, who's also a 4-star quarterback recruit. So Florida State is getting a lot of players in. And what we always see in these, right? We see Georgia, Ohio State, Florida, Alabama, Michigan. And to kind of put a bow tie on all this, really put a bow tie on all this, none of this is final. None of it is final. All of these are commitment. I talked about this before. You know, do go a long way. I would like to know the percentage of people who say they're going to commit and they actually commit to the broadcast. I wonder. I mean, not broadcast, who actually commit to the program from the fall and they stick with it throughout, right? We always hear the stories of those who flip on signing day or don't sign the paperwork in the end. But if I had to speculate, I would say 80% of those who commit in the summer, especially the big name recruits, they pretty much stay the line. It might 80% or higher. That would be my speculation, but definitely 70% of higher, kind of to where they say they're going to go. But there are those who flip or who commit late. So that's kind of it. Coach Norvell has beat Coach Prime. Let me know what you think of it below. Specifically, he was able to develop a tight relationship with Charles Lester III. That relationship went a long way in his commitment process. Florida State has hired one of the best NFL cornerbacks of all time, one of the best college cornerbacks. When he was at Southern Miss, you know, he had epic plays. He was locked down at the time. Cornerbacks to play, and now he's coaching at Florida State. So if you want somebody who's done it, we have him on campus now. So I think that was a big especially considering that the players that didn't go to Florida State in the past who were cornerbacks, and especially in nowadays, you need elite cornerbacks who can turn, who can run, who can play if you're going to compete, especially against these spread offenses. You need elite cornerbacks, you need elite edge rushers, and you need an elite quarterback. Those three, that's just what it is. Can you use elite receivers? Yes, but there's just so many really, really great receivers out there that I don't put as much stock into those other three positions. But let me know what you think about in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you stay with me. And Florida State has jumped to 10. How high will they go? Can Florida State keep this momentum? They had a big momentum in July with all the signings. Can they keep moving forward to where they get into the top 5 or top 3 in recruiting? I would say yes. You guys all know Florida's a hotbed. With Florida State winning, especially if they can go out and have another 10-win season, I think it's beyond shadow of a doubt we can then say Florida State. And we have even bigger news that we're going to touch on later. Is Florida State, before the August 15th deadline, going to just, you know what, say forget it, get out of the grants of rights? Is there a way out of grants of rights without paying like $1 bajillion bucks? Because one of the things is not just paying the fee. According to the grants of rights, the Atlantic Coast Conference would actually have the rights to the broadcast games of Florida State football, whether they're in a conference or not. So that's kind of like a big deal that's in the headline. I figured out so today. I think I have a plan. I think moving forward, I'll, have a little song playing in the beginning. So that's why people you see have the song playing, because they're connecting the chat and getting this behind the scenes stuff working in that time. So after that song plays, then they're pretty much ready to go. So that's something that I kind of learned today. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Thank you for liking the broadcast. Stay locked in. We're going to go heavy into the football season. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you. Catch you guys on the flip. Peace.